Welcome back to Aladdin's Global Adventure.
Yeah, always exciting to be back.
And today we're going to talk about iMile.
iMile.
Yeah.
Fascinating company.
Fast-growing company.
For sure, fast growing.
Especially, behind this e-commerce boom.
Yeah, it's really incredible to see how they're not just keeping pace
Right.
with the e-commerce boom, but actually shaping it.
Shaping the landscape, yeah.
Yeah, especially in regions like Latin America.
Oh, yeah. Latin America is exploding.
Their online shopping is just absolutely exploding.
And that's what we're diving deep into today, right?
Exactly.
What's fueling their success?
And how they're approaching these new markets.
Especially in Mexico.
Mexico is a fascinating case study.
Yeah?
Because it offers this glimpse into how iMile approaches emerging markets.
Right.
With their unique challenges and even bigger opportunities.
So let's get into it, right? iMile,
Yeah.
relatively young company, founded in 2017 in Dubai.
Okay, so pretty young.
Pretty young company, and they started in the Middle East, but quickly expanded across Africa.
Wow.
And then, get this, into Latin America.
That's a big jump.
It's a huge jump
In a short amount of time.
in a very short amount of time.
So their global strategy is ambitious.
Global strategy is very ambitious.
They're essentially building a bridge
Okay.
between Chinese express delivery services
Okay.
and the rest of the world.
That's a huge bridge.
Yeah, think about the scale of that.
Yeah.
Managing infrastructure personnel across so many different countries.
Different languages.
Different regulations. It's mind-boggling.
Especially for a company as young as they are.
Yeah, I mean, how do you even do that?
Right. And they're not just working in the background.
Right.
They're partnering with major e-commerce players
Oh, yeah, they're right there in the thick of it.
in the thick of it.
They're helping them with things like overseas warehousing,
Yeah, procurement,
procurement.
all of that.
They've even got a foothold in regions like Turkey and Africa.
Yeah, wild.
That speaks volumes about their vision.
Yeah.
I mean, they identified the potential of these often overlooked markets
Right,
early on
right.
and made bold moves to establish themselves.
And Mexico seems to be a key piece of their Latin American puzzle.
For sure.
It's their hub,
Yeah.
their springboard for reaching other countries like Brazil, Colombia,
Okay.
Peru, Guatemala.
Yeah, all the major players.
Why do you think they zeroed in on Mexico?
Well, there are several reasons.
Okay.
Mexico has a business-friendly environment,
Okay.
massive growth potential, and strong connections to major markets,
Especially the U.S.
especially the U.S.
Speaking of the U.S., here's a fact that blew my mind.
Okay, I'm ready.
In the first quarter of 2023, trade between Mexico and the U.S.
Okay, interesting.
actually surpassed trade between China and the U.S.
Wow, now that's a game changer.
That's wild.
It underscores the strategic importance of Mexico.
Right.
And it creates a huge opportunity for a company like iMile
Yeah.
that can seamlessly bridge these markets.
Yeah. Incredible.
So it's not just about China and the U.S. anymore.
No.
Mexico is right there in the middle,
Right in the middle of it.
facilitating that trade.
So let's zoom in on the Mexican e-commerce landscape itself.
Okay, let's do it.
First off, the growth is staggering.
Yeah, it's really something.
16.4% in 2023 alone.
That's huge.
One of the fastest growing e-commerce markets globally.
Globally, so it's not just a regional phenomenon.
No.
This is a global trend we're seeing of e-commerce expansion.
Yeah.
But Mexico stands out because of its sheer scale.
Right.
And the rapid increase in both online sales and the number of orders placed.
Okay.
We're talking about a 31% jump in sales
Wow.
and almost 30% more orders compared to the previous year.
Yeah, that's a massive shift.
It's a massive shift in how people are shopping.
Absolutely. And within Mexico.
Yeah.
Some regions are driving this boom more than others, right?
Absolutely. Mexico City and the central region are the powerhouses,
Okay.
accounting for almost 40% of all online sales.
Okay, so a lot of the population is concentrated there.
Exactly. That's where a lot of the consumers are.
Right. But I also read
Yeah.
that there's a growing trend of Chinese companies relocating their factories
Interesting.
to Monterrey,
Monterrey, right.
a city much closer to the U.S. border.
Now, that's an interesting development
Yeah.
because it creates this convergence of manufacturing,
Okay.
trade, and e-commerce, all happening in a strategically important area.
And for a meal,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
It means adapting their logistics
Okay.
to capitalize on these shifting dynamics.
So it's not just about understanding the broad trends.
Right.
It's about being able to adapt to these hyperlocal shifts.
You got it.
So flexibility is key.
Flexibility is absolutely key.
And you have to consider the specific needs of different product categories.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because Mexico's online shoppers are snapping up everything.
Okay, give me the rundown.
From computers, tablets, and phones.
Okay.
Often called 3C products.
3C.
To cosmetics, personal care items, and even household appliances.
Wow, so the whole gamut.
The whole gamut.
And each of those categories
Yeah.
has its own unique set of challenges in terms of shipping, storage, and delivery.
Oh, for sure.
iMile can't treat them all the same.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
And the fact that the average online order value is relatively high in Mexico
That's interesting.
suggests a market with significant spending power.
Yeah, so it's not just about volume. It's about the value of each transaction.
Right. It's not just that they're buying a lot.
Right.
It's that they're buying a lot of expensive things,
Exactly.
which further fuels this growth.
Absolutely.
So we've got the products.
We've got the products.
But what about the people?
The people, the heart of it all.
Who are these Mexican online shoppers?
Yeah. Who are they?
What makes them tick?
Well, for starters, women are a dominant force, making up 51% of online shoppers.
Wow, that's a significant demographic.
That's a significant demographic to consider when crafting marketing strategies and choosing product selections.
And I heard that the fastest growing segment of online shoppers is coming from the lowest income group.
That's a really interesting insight.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive.
It is, but it highlights the importance of understanding the diverse needs and preferences of the Mexican market.
Right.
Reaching this segment effectively could be a game changer for companies like iMile.
So affordability and accessibility would be crucial for capturing this segment.
Absolutely. You have to make it easy and affordable for them to shop online.
So how are companies reaching these consumers?
Social media.
Social media.
A whopping 85% of Mexican shoppers rely on social media for information about products and brands.
Really?
It's their go-to source for shopping inspiration and discovery.
It's amazing how powerful social media is.
It is. It's really reshaped the landscape.
In shaping consumer behavior.
Completely.
But traditional media isn't dead yet, is it?
You'd be surprised traditional media still holds sway over about 40% of consumers.
Okay, so it's still a player.
It's still a player.
So maybe a multi-channel approach.
Yeah, a multi-channel approach might be the most effective strategy.
Right, combining the reach of traditional media with the targeted power of social media.
Exactly.
And I can't forget about word of mouth and online influencers.
Right.
They seem to play a big role, especially in a culture that values personal recommendations.
Absolutely. With 39% of shoppers influenced by these channels, it presents opportunities for cost-effective marketing that leverages the power of social networks and trusted voices.
So it's not just about flashy ads.
It's not. It's about authentic connections.
Yeah, let's talk about where these shoppers are actually buying.
Okay, the marketplaces.
We know the big players globally, but what does the e-commerce landscape look like in Mexico?
Mercado Libre is the current king in terms of volume.
Okay.
But Amazon is hot on their heels.
Okay.
With strong brand recognition.
All right, everyone knows Amazon.
Everybody knows Amazon.
And then there's the rise of Chinese platforms like Temu.
Temu, very interesting.
They only entered the market in June 2022.
Yeah, they're new.
But they're already grabbing a significant chunk of the market share.
They're moving fast.
What does that mean for a company like iMile?
It adds another layer of complexity, but also opportunity.
Okay.
iMile needs to be able to seamlessly integrate with all of these platforms, offer competitive pricing, and ensure smooth deliveries for a diverse range of sellers and products.
So being adaptable and platform agnostic.
Exactly. That's a key.
So it sounds like iMile needs to be a master of juggling multiple platforms and their nuances.
They do. They have to be very nimble.
Yeah. But even with all this opportunity, there are still challenges in the Mexican market, right?
Absolutely.
I've heard stories about logistical nightmares.
Mexico presents some unique hurdles.
Okay, like what?
Well, customs delays can be a major headache. There are issues with rough handling of packages. Inconsistent delivery times across this vast country.
Yeah, Mexico's a big country.
It's a big country, and even difficulties with reverse logistics.
Oh, yeah.
If a customer wants to return something,
that's a whole other beast.
That's a whole other beast.
So these are pain points that any logistics company operating in Mexico has to address.
Absolutely. It's not for the faint of heart.
So how is iMile tackling these challenges?
Well, first and foremost, they've built a robust infrastructure.
Okay.
We're talking 3 main distribution centers, 41 regional hubs, and a whopping 421 strategically located delivery points.
They're blanketing the country.
They're blanketing the country with a network designed for efficiency and reach.
It's like they're weaving a web across the entire country.
Exactly. And it's not just about buildings. They've got over 2,800 delivery personnel and 3 strategically placed sorting centers in key cities like Mexico City, Monterrey, and Guadalajara.
Okay, so they're covering all their bases.
They're not leaving anything to chance.
So it sounds like a massive operation.
It is.
But are they just throwing people and infrastructure at the problem?
No, there's definitely a method to their madness.
Okay, what is it?
They're prioritizing efficiency and customer service.
Okay.
Aiming for a remarkable 1.5-hour coverage across their entire network.
Oh, wow.
That translates to incredibly fast delivery times, usually between 1 and 3 days.
That's impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
And in a market where delivery can be so unpredictable,
Right.
that level of reliability must be a huge selling point.
So I would imagine.
And they back it up with a 98% delivery success rate.
Wow, that's really high.
It is, considering the challenges we just discussed.
Right.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
It shows they're not just promising speed, they're delivering on it.
So they're efficient,
They are?
they're reliable,
Yes.
but how are they handling the tech side of things?
Well, they're embracing the digital age fully.
Okay, so they're not afraid of technology.
Not at all. They're leveraging it in a big way.
How so?
They've developed a proprietary tracking system that gives them real-time visibility into where packages are at all times.
Okay.
They're also using route optimization to ensure deliveries are as efficient as possible.
Okay.
And they're even using technology to minimize damage rates.
So protecting those precious packages.
Absolutely, because damaged goods mean unhappy customers.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
And they back it all up with a robust customer support system.
Okay.
They know that even with the best technology,
Right.
things can go wrong. So they have a dedicated team
Okay.
ready to handle inquiries and complaints effectively.
So they're covering all the bases?
They're covering all the bases.
Infrastructure, technology, customer service.
You got it.
But is there anything else that sets them apart from the competition?
Well, here's something truly unique.
Okay, lay it on me.
They managed to obtain a B2C license from the Mexican government.
A B2C license. I've never even heard of that.
Very few logistics companies have.
Oh.
It's a game changer.
So what is it?
It gives them a significant edge, allowing them to operate more freely and efficiently within the Mexican market,
Okay.
especially when it comes to navigating those complex customs regulations.
So it's like a golden ticket to streamlined operations.
It's a major strategic move on their part.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It speaks to their long-term vision and their commitment to truly understanding the Mexican market.
So they're not just playing by the rules.
They're shaping them.
It sounds like they're playing chess.
They are.
Well, everyone else is playing checkers.
Exactly. They're thinking several steps ahead.
And they're not stopping there.
No.
I read about their last mile and first mile solutions.
Oh, those are fascinating.
What are those all about?
Think of it like a relay race.
Okay.
iMile is focused on optimizing both the handoff from the warehouse to the delivery truck.
Okay.
That's the first mile.
First mile. Okay. And the final leg of the journey to the customer's doorstep.
The last mile.
The last mile.
Okay.
These are often the most complex and time-consuming parts of the delivery process.
Right.
So by streamlining them, iMile is creating a smoother and faster experience for both sellers and buyers.
It's like they're obsessed with every step of the journey.
They're squeezing out inefficiencies wherever they can find them.
It's incredible.
It's impressive.
So we've seen how iMile is tackling the challenges and seizing the opportunities of the Mexican e-commerce boom.
They're really in the thick of it.
But what can we learn from their story?
That's the big question, right?
What are the key ingredients to their success?
I think it's a powerful combination of several factors.
Okay.
First, they have a clear vision for where they want to be.
Okay.
And they're not afraid to make bold moves to get there. Second, they have an incredible understanding of the local market.
Right.
Its nuances, its challenges, and its opportunities.
They've done their homework. They've really done their research. Third, they're masters of execution.
Okay.
They build robust networks, prioritize customer service, and leverage technology to drive efficiency.
They're firing on all cylinders.
They are. And finally, they're not afraid to innovate.
Yeah.
That B2C license, for example, was a stroke of genius.
So it sounds like they have a recipe for success that could be applied to other markets as well.
Absolutely. It's not just about Mexico. It's about a mindset.
It's a mindset, yeah.
It's a mindset that prioritizes vision, adaptability, customer focus, and a relentless pursuit of excellence.
And that's a recipe that can travel.
It can travel anywhere.
So we've unpacked a lot about iMile's journey so far.
We have.
But I'm curious.
Yeah.
What do you think the future holds for them?
That's a great question.
E-commerce is only getting bigger, especially in emerging markets like Latin America.
It is. It's a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
So will they be able to maintain this incredible momentum as the industry continues to evolve?
It's a tough question.
It is. Can they adapt to new technologies?
Right.
Shifting consumer expectations and increasing competition.
These are the challenges that lie ahead.
The challenges are only getting bigger.
The stakes are only getting higher.
Yeah, the stakes are high.
But it's clear that iMile isn't a company that shies away from a challenge.
They've proven that they're nimble, adaptable, and ambitious.
Right. They seem to thrive on it.
They do. They like a good challenge.
It'll be fascinating to see what they do next.
It will. Their story is far from over.
Okay. We've covered a lot of ground in part 1.
Yeah, we have.
Of this deep dive into iMile's success story.
We've just scratched the surface.
We've just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
But there's so much more to explore.
We'll be back in part 2.
We'll be back in part 2.
To delve even deeper into their operations.
Yeah, their impact.
Their impact.
And what their story might tell us about the future of e-commerce.
The future is what it's all about.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned because the journey is just getting started. One thing that really struck me about iMile's approach is their understanding of the cultural nuances in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's not just about logistics.
No.
It's about adapting to the local way of doing things.
Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
I've read that Mexico has some pretty unique shopping habits.
They do. They really do.
Didn't they have this whole month-long e-commerce holiday thing going on?
Yeah, El Buen Fin.
El Buen Fin.
It's basically Mexico's version of Black Friday,
Okay.
but stretched out over several weeks in November.
Several weeks.
Imagine the logistical challenges of handling that
Wow.
kind of sustained surge in orders.
That's not just a spike. It's a
plateau.
whole plateau of increased demand.
Exactly.
And you've got other major holidays like Cinco de Mayo,
Right.
Dia de Muertos, and Christmas, all thrown into the mix.
All throughout the year.
So they constantly have to be on their toes.
They do. iMile has to be prepared to handle those fluctuations in demand.
Yeah.
And they have to do it while maintaining their high standards for speed and reliability.
It sounds like they need a crystal ball.
Yeah, maybe not a crystal ball,
Okay.
but definitely a lot of data
Right.
and a deep understanding of the Mexican market.
And their growth in Mexico has been nothing short of remarkable.
It has been phenomenal.
I mean, they only started operations there in September 2021,
That's right.
handling around 7,000 to 8,000 deliveries per day.
Yeah, that was just their starting point.
What's it like now?
Hold on to your hat.
Okay, I'm ready.
Because they're now handling a staggering 250,000 deliveries every single day.
That's a huge jump.
That is explosive growth.
Even by e-commerce standards.
Even by e-commerce standards, that's impressive.
It sounds like they've truly tapped into something special in Mexico.
They have. They found a niche.
But let's not forget, this wasn't just handed to them.
Right. It wasn't just luck.
They had to build this infrastructure from the ground up. We've talked about their distribution centers and hubs, but it's also about understanding the unique characteristics of each region within Mexico.
For sure. Mexico's a huge country.
Yeah, 32 states.
32 states. You can't just apply a cookie-cutter approach.
Right. You can't just assume
No, each state is different.
that what works in one place is going to work in another.
Absolutely not. They've clearly done their homework,
Okay.
taking a very targeted approach.
Give me an example.
For example, they recognized early on that Mexico City and the surrounding state of Mexico are the heart of e-commerce activity.
Right.
So they prioritized building a strong presence there.
Makes sense.
Go where the customers are.
But are they limiting themselves to just those areas?
Not at all.
Okay.
They're expanding strategically, identifying key areas like the states of Guerrero and Hidalgo as having strong growth potential.
So those are kind of up-and-coming areas.
They are. They're on the rise.
Yeah.
But it's not just about geographical expansion.
No.
It's also about getting deeper into existing markets.
So they're constantly analyzing data,
They are.
identifying opportunities, and adjusting their approach.
That's a great way to put it.
So it's a very dynamic, data-driven strategy.
They're not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
No.
They're actively shaping their own destiny.
I bet all those Chinese warehouses and distribution centers you mentioned earlier are playing a role in their strategy.
You're absolutely right.
Especially those clustered around Mexico City, the state of Mexico.
Exactly. They're building a network that seamlessly connects those warehouses to consumers all across Mexico.
So it's about creating a smooth and efficient flow of goods.
That's the key.
From the factory floor in China all the way to a customer's doorstep in Mexico.
A door-to-door service.
It sounds like they're playing a crucial role in facilitating this burgeoning trade relationship between China, Mexico, and even the U.S.
They're a key enabler of this growing economic triangle.
And it's not just about big corporations either.
No.
They're also empowering smaller merchants and entrepreneurs.
That's right.
Who are increasingly selling their products online.
It's democratizing access to global markets.
Right.
Giving smaller players a chance to compete.
And they're doing it in a way that's both efficient and affordable.
Exactly.
Which is critical for these smaller businesses to thrive.
Absolutely. You have to keep costs low.
So they're supporting economic growth.
And
empowering businesses of all sizes. And connecting consumers with goods from around the world.
It's a win-win situation.
It sounds like a win-win-win situation.
You're right, a win-win-win.
But as with any success story, there are challenges ahead.
Always challenges.
The logistics landscape in Mexico, like everywhere else, is constantly evolving.
It's a dynamic industry.
New technologies are emerging.
Right.
Consumer expectations are shifting. And the competition is always fierce.
Always someone trying to get ahead.
So it's not a market where you can just rest on your laurels.
You can't. You have to keep innovating.
You have to constantly be pushing forward.
Absolutely.
iMile will need to constantly innovate. Adapt and invest in their infrastructure and technology if they want to maintain their lead.
It's not a time to get complacent.
And they can't lose sight of what got them here.
Right.
Their focus on customer service.
That's the foundation.
You can have the best network in the world.
You can.
But if your customers aren't happy,
right,
it's all for nothing.
It's all for nothing. You have to keep the customer happy.
Especially in a market like Mexico, where word of mouth and social media plays such a powerful role.
It's all about reputation.
In shaping consumer perceptions.
That's right.
So it sounds like iMile is at a crossroads.
Interesting way to put it.
They've achieved incredible success.
They have. They've come a long way.
But the real test is whether they can maintain that momentum in a rapidly changing environment.
That's the million-dollar question.
And that brings us to a fascinating question.
Okay, I'm ready.
How will they navigate the future of e-commerce in Mexico and beyond?
Yeah. What's next for them?
What will their next chapter look like?
Lots of possibilities.
Well, that's a question we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
But before we get there, I want to touch on something you said earlier about iMile's impact on the Mexican economy.
Okay. Their economic impact.
It seems like they're doing more than just delivering packages.
Right. It's bigger than that.
They're actually driving growth.
Yeah.
And creating opportunities.
That's a great observation, and it's something that really sets iMile apart.
So they're not just a logistics company.
No.
They're a catalyst for economic development.
Exactly.
Think about the jobs they're creating, the businesses they're empowering, and the connections they're forging between Mexico and the rest of the world.
It's a ripple effect.
It's almost like they're weaving a new fabric of global trade.
I like that analogy.
Thread by thread, package by package.
Connecting the world one package at a time.
And it's not just about economic impact, is it?
Right.
There's also a social dimension to their work.
Absolutely.
Connecting people and communities in ways that weren't possible before.
Bringing people together.
Breaking down barriers,
Yeah.
creating access, and fostering a sense of interconnectedness.
It's a powerful story, and it's still being written.
Okay, we've explored iMile's remarkable journey.
We have.
Their strategic approach, and their impact on the Mexican economy.
It's a multifaceted story.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to examine.
Okay. The final piece.
Their vision for the future.
The future. What does it hold?
What does iMile see on the horizon?
Yeah.
And how are they preparing for it?
Well, to answer that question, we need to step back and look at the broader trends shaping the world of e-commerce.
Okay.
We're talking about things like artificial intelligence,
AI,
automation, and the rise of new technologies that are transforming how we buy, sell, and move goods around the world.
It's a whirlwind of innovation.
It is. It's hard to keep up.
And it's hard to predict what's coming next.
You never know what's around the corner.
But iMile can't afford to stand still, can they?
They can't. They have to be proactive.
So they're not just reacting to the market.
No.
They're trying to stay ahead of the curve.
That's the key to their long-term success.
Right.
They're constantly exploring new technologies, experimenting with new approaches, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
In the world of logistics,
They're not afraid to take risks.
I'm really curious to hear about some of the specific initiatives they're working on.
We'll get into those details in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
But I can tell you this. iMile is not afraid to embrace innovation.
They're not afraid to try new things.
They understand that the future of e-commerce is going to look very different from the present.
Yeah.
And they're determined to be at the forefront of that transformation.
So they want to be leading the charge.
Yeah, they want to be the pioneers.
Okay. I can't wait to hear more.
We'll get to it.
But before we wrap up this part of our discussion, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
About the challenges iMile faces.
Right, the challenges they're facing.
You talked about the evolving logistics landscape.
Yes.
New technologies. And increasing competition.
That's right. Those are all real challenges.
But what about the human element?
Oh, the human element.
As iMile grows and becomes more reliant on technology, how will they maintain that personal touch that's been so crucial to their success?
That's a great question, and it's something that all businesses will need to grapple with as automation and AI become more prevalent.
So it's not just an iMile issue.
No, it's an industry-wide issue.
It's a question for everyone.
It is finding the right balance between technological innovation and human connection is going to be a key challenge for iMile moving forward.
It's a tightrope walk, isn't it?
It is. You want to leverage the power of technology, but you don't want to lose the human touch.
That builds trust and loyalty.
Exactly. And I think iMile recognizes that. They understand that technology is a tool, but it's the people who ultimately drive their success.
At the end of the day, it's about people.
It is about people.
Their culture is built around empowering their employees.
That's right.
Fostering a sense of ownership and creating a work environment where people feel valued and respected.
They want their employees to feel like they're part of something bigger.
So they're trying to build a culture that embraces both innovation and humanity.
Exactly. It's a balance.
It's a delicate balance, but it seems like they're on the right track.
I think so. They're doing a lot of things right.
So they're embracing the future, but they're not forgetting the importance of the human element.
It's a good combination.
It's a delicate balance.
It is.
But it seems like they're on the right track.
They're definitely moving in the right direction.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
Exploring iMile's remarkable growth, their impact on the Mexican economy, and the challenges and opportunities they face as they look towards the future.
I've covered a lot of territory.
But there's still one more piece of the puzzle we need to examine.
And that's where we'll pick up in the final part of our deep dive.
We'll be back for part 3.
We'll delve into iMile's vision for the future. Exploring their plans for innovation expansion and continued success in the world of e-commerce.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned because the journey is far from over.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into iMile's success story.
The final chapter.
We've seen how they've conquered the Mexican market.
They've really made their mark.
But what does the future hold for them?
That's the big question, isn't it?
You mentioned some pretty big trends shaping the world of e-commerce.
Yeah, things are changing fast.
AI automation, things that could fundamentally change how we buy and sell.
It's a whole new world out there.
That's right. The e-commerce landscape is evolving at a breakneck pace.
You got to keep up or you get left behind.
But what's fascinating about iMile is that they're not just watching from the sidelines. They're actively embracing these changes.
They're not afraid of change. They're embracing it.
So they're not just adapting. They're innovating.
Exactly.
What does that look like in practice? Give me some specifics.
Well, they're investing heavily in data analytics and predictive modeling. Imagine using AI to forecast demand, optimize delivery routes, and even personalize the customer experience.
So they're using AI to really fine-tune their operations.
That's what they're working towards, using data to make smarter decisions.
Wow, that's next level stuff.
It's the future of logistics.
Well, we've talked a lot about efficiency and speed. What about sustainability?
Oh, that's definitely on their radar.
Okay, how so?
They're exploring the use of electric vehicles and drones for deliveries.
Okay.
particularly in densely populated areas where traditional delivery methods can be less efficient and more polluting.
So it's about being both efficient and environmentally friendly.
That's right. It's a win-win.
And they're even experimenting with biodegradable packaging materials.
So they're thinking about the entire life cycle of the product.
So they're thinking about the environmental impact of their operations.
Absolutely.
Not just the bottom line.
It's about more than just making money.
That's impressive.
It shows they're thinking long-term.
It sounds like they're building a company that's not just successful, but also responsible.
Yes.
And forward-thinking.
They're building a company for the future.
But let's zoom back in on their global aspirations.
Okay.
They've conquered the Middle East.
Uh-huh.
They're dominating in Mexico.
And made a big splash.
Where do they go from here?
Well, they've got their sights set on other high-growth markets in Latin America. Places like Brazil, Colombia, and Peru.
So they're going deeper into Latin America.
That's right. They see a lot of potential there.
And they're not stopping there.
Nope.
They see themselves as a global player.
They have global ambitions.
Connecting businesses and consumers across continents.
They want to connect the world.
It's ambitious.
It is.
But they've proven they can execute on their vision.
They've got a track record of success.
But expansion brings new challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
Different cultures, different regulations.
Every market is unique.
How can they ensure they don't lose that local touch?
Right.
That's been so crucial to their success.
That's a key question, and it all comes down to their approach.
Okay, what is their approach?
They're not just transplanting their model wholesale.
Down.
They're taking the time to understand the nuances of each new market they enter.
So they're doing their research?
They're not taking anything for granted.
They're building partnerships with local businesses.
Yes.
Hiring local talent. And adapting their technology to meet local needs.
They're really going the extra mile.
So it's a global strategy with a hyper-local focus.
That's a great way to put it.
They're combining their expertise in logistics and technology with a deep understanding of the cultural and economic realities of each market.
They're trying to strike a balance between global scale and local relevance.
It's like they're creating a custom-tailored suit.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
For each country they enter.
Uh-huh.
Not just trying to squeeze everyone into the same off-the-rack outfit.
It's a more personal approach.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
what
are the key takeaways for our listeners?
What have we learned?
What can we learn from iMile's journey?
Well, I think the biggest lesson is that success in today's global economy requires a unique blend of vision, adaptability, and execution.
So it's not just about having a good idea.
No.
You have to be able to bring it to life and constantly refine it as the world around you changes.
It's a constant process of evolution.
Exactly. And iMile is a masterclass in how to do that.
They're a great example of a company that's doing it right.
They're not afraid to challenge conventions.
No.
Embrace new technologies and push the boundaries of what's possible in the world of logistics.
They're constantly innovating.
Their story is a testament to the power of innovation.
Yes.
The importance of understanding your customer. And the value of building a strong team.
It's all about people at the end of the day.
And it's an inspiring example.
It is.
For anyone looking to make their mark in this dynamic and ever-evolving industry.
There's a lot we can learn from them.
iMile has shown us what's possible when you dare to dream big and execute with precision.
It's a powerful combination.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of iMile.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as we did.
Me too. It's been a great conversation.
And as you go about your day,
Yeah.
We'd like to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
What other industries could benefit from iMile's approach?
Interesting question.
Could their blend of technology, customer focus, and local expertise be a model for other businesses looking to conquer new markets and shape the future?
It's definitely something to think about.
That's a great question to ponder.
It is food for thought.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Keep learning and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's what it's all about.